Good afternoon, everybody out there in YouTube land. Appreciate y'all watching. Wanted to discuss a not so pretty log. This particular log has got sweep, off-center pith. We are actually going for 2x4s out of this particular log, but we'll get 1x4s off the outside edge of it. That lets me pay more attention as I'm cutting the boards off, pay more attention as I'm cutting the slabs off, see which way they're moving, which way the slabs are moving, to tell me where the stress is at in this log. As you can see, this log has got sweep, it's got off-center pith, it's got, the only thing it doesn't have is big knots. So we have got 5 3/4 inches of the pith there, 7 1/2, 7 1/4 inch to the pith there, 7 1/4 that way, 6 1/4 that way. This pith is off center both directions. The log is crooked. Some logs are just ugly logs. So rather than argue with myself about which is the absolute best face, which is the most perfect face, I will put the log up there. This one is probably going to get turned just a little bit to where my first cuts are going to be there. And I'll bring it on down to where I'm about 2 inches or so from the pith, depending on how these boards are moving. I will turn it 180 and we're going to come down this way to where I got a 4-inch cant. Then I'll make my 2x4s this way. But if this stuff starts moving differently, I'm liable to come in this way, coming in from the outside, and get a 4-inch cant this way. It's going to be, I'm going to let this log tell me how to cut it. I hope some of what I'm saying is making sense, but due to the fact of the way that it's crooked, I would normally want that bow, if it's bowed this way, I'd want that bow in my boards instead of crook in my boards on this southern yellow pine. I've never cut western species, but I would venture a bet that spruce and fir isn't that much different. But I wanted to have a little tutorial on this to give you guys a feel. But one thing I've learned, you can waste a lot of time on a poor quality log and still get poor quality lumber. Majority of the time, if it's a poor quality log, get it cut, get it off the mill, get it in a product that you can move, even if it's got some defect in it or it isn't the best of quality. But get that log off your mill and get to some better grade logs. That's the best thing you can do, is get this log sawed and get it off your mill. Let's saw it up. Doing it different what I draw it on there. One of the things I'm looking for is to see if this slab moves left or right, up or down. Does it bow in the middle? Does the end come up off of the can? Does it swing one way or the other off the log? Now, if y'all saw, this board here went a little bit right, went a little bit left, went up. That's mainly because we're getting down to this juvenile core. This juvenile core is the first 15 or so growth rings of the log. It will have a lot of different effects on your lumber because it shrinks differently than your mature late wood. Now we're going to turn it over, come on down, make a 2x4s all the way down. This log's actually cutting better than I was anticipating. On the bottom, it more centered the pith and the juvenile core in this 2x4, whereas if I would have come down 2 inches and left it 1x4 on the bottom, that pith would have been on the edge of the 2x4, which would have made it bend worse. Hope this helps y'all.